I think the viewers are you guys, probably. Yeah, man.
Rykus leans in, his eyes like fire. Nemo's got the mic dressed in satire. Andrew in the booth, spinning the wheel. Cameras rolling, it's all surreal. Who's the guest today? Who's the guest today? Red curve spinning, always winning. Rykus, Nemo, questions pinning. Andrew called the shot, don't miss the frame. Hobby Hooligan, what's your name?
Another episode of Ashtabula Hobby Talk. Toast. I don't think we're toasting anything, but I'm your host, Rykus, owner of Captain's Comics in North Kingsborough, Ohio, and I'm here with...
Hey, my name is Nemo. Welcome, Hobby Hooligans, to Ashtabula Hobby Talk, president of Amigos Radio Club, Ashtabula, and amateur radio enthusiast.
Great toast.
Yeah, and I like toast, wheat toast, with some butter, good fresh butter on it, and if we're toasting, we'll toast on New Year's. That's for sure. That'll be a good
toast. Time. You ever watch Bob and Tom show, that little comedy song skit? Yeah, toast.
No, I don't think I've seen that one. Oh man! So hey, we had a good time this past weekend. Maybe we'll give people we'll give another minute here, but I'm just pushing buttons randomly.
Yep, we had a great time at my comic shop over the weekend. It was pretty awesome.
That's not working out the way I want.
We had a lot of people show up and a lot of comics out there.
Well, that's good. That's good. And we showed up too. Man, it was good fun. We got some pictures up there. I think no pictures. Somebody was well,
Stall for like 10 seconds, okay?
All right, we'll stall for about 10 seconds.
Actually, make it like 30 seconds. I have to go download the pictures.
For anybody that doesn't know what Free Comic Book Day is, it's a celebration of comic books throughout every comic book store and across the nation. It's where we have like a wide selection of comic books to give away to the community and get people involved in the jumpstart the comic book hobby. We hand out comic books to kids, to adults. There's mature comic books we give away. It's mature, like there's like a lot of violence and
Call it action.
action.
Kids love action.
Yeah. So yeah, and we had a great turnout. We did very well. There's a few comic books that were free that people were specking on. Now they're going on the internet for like $5 to $30 for a
Wow.
free comic book that came out. So
I was I don't want to say I was surprised how busy the place was but I kind of was. I mean, I've been up to your shop a bunch of times and it's been cool. But I was more so surprised at how many comic books were actually offered up as free comic books. You know what I mean? Like the selection, everything from Avengers to what would seem like some pretty offbeat comic books were, and just about every publisher had something that was represented there.
yep. We thought we had close to 60 titles to give away, but it ended up being more around closer to 50.
Still, I didn't expect that many. And
We had things from Sonic the Hedgehog comics to Energon Universe. That's the Transformers and G.I. Joe, and now forming the Mask universe. Mask is now part of the universe. There was one that's, as I mentioned, was worth value is Dungeon Crawler Carl.
okay,
And,
I think I remember seeing that one.
yeah, there's that one's speculated to be a movie. I think there's a lot of hype on that one.
Okay, I'll have
There's
to.
Conan. Conan
I
had
did
free
see
one.
those. That one. Yeah. What do you
There we
got
go.
there?
These images are in a weird format, so I have to open them one at a time because Windows. So if you guys want to just keep talking, I'll just scroll through them as I go here. Or do you
Yeah,
want
that's fine. We
Okay.
can do that.
All right. So
And
talk
to
away.
Help, kick off the celebration of Free Comic Books Day, I enlisted on a couple of friends, Ghostbusters. We had
Yeah.
the Ghostbusters there and a giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Look at that.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. And
He
we,
definitely got the attention of people driving down 20.
yeah. And
I wasn't outside for the whole thing. I imagine you were, but I imagine he got a lot of looks.
a lot of looks, a lot of horn beeps.
A lot of horn
That was
beeps.
Pretty cool. Yeah, we
I didn't hear that.
got
I was
some horn
inside
beeps.
doing my comic book thing.
It was chilly. I tell you, we came up there with the radio club and we set up a radio station and we made some contacts and we did talk to a few people that came in the door and we handed out a couple flyers, but it was cold. It was a little chilly that day. Once the sun came out and if you were standing in the sun, it was good, but it was a little chilly.
It
I'll
was
admit that.
genuinely like, hey, I've been sitting in the shade for too long. My hands are cold. It was not the kind of weather you expect from May.
Yeah, our weather's been weird up here, that's for sure. But I'll tell you, every time I walked into the door, there was a couple times I'm like, okay, there's no cars in the parking lot. I'm going to go inside and say hello to people. And then I wouldn't be inside more than about 5 minutes, and then there'd be a bunch of people in the door.
Yeah. Continuous all day long. It was great. I mean, if we can just do that every week, but it's a holiday for the
At
comics.
least one day a week. Come on,
At least
you guys.
one day out of the year.
There's another great shot, and let's see if we can keep that up there for a minute. So we got Daniel Doing in that shot there. He's
Yes,
doing
he's
the
been on the
Green
show
Lantern.
before.
He's been on a show. We got Dr. Ben Anthony there.
And he's been on
and
our
he's
show.
been on our show. Both those guys have their own comic books, and of course, there's Rykus, and there's
She's been
Andrew,
on the show too.
and there's me. We've all been on
And
the
you've
show.
been on the show.
Yeah,
And I think there's Andrew in there. I think Andrew's been on the show too.
yeah.
So that's everybody that's been on our show.
I'm
Not
I'm
everybody.
behind the show.
Actually,
I'm in the fourth wall.
I was actually glad to see all the people that showed up, that not just Dan Doing and
Well,
Ben.
Daniel Doing was supposed to be coming in to doing a signing,
Hmm.
and so he canceled because he didn't get his comic books in, so he couldn't sign comic books. So there's no point of him just lingering around, just standing there with nothing to sign, saying, "I'm a comic book creator, look at me." So he decided, unbeknown to me, to join the Ghostbuster. Now, there's a Ghostbuster community in Erie, and the guy in the picture is a part of that big group, and he's the only one that came, but he enlisted Daniel Doing, but Daniel Doing came as a Green Lantern and not a Ghostbuster.
That's okay though. That's okay. And the guy in the Spider-Man.
You say it's okay, but did you see the big Stay Puft Marshmallow Man behind him?
Absolutely.
That takes at least 2 Ghostbusters to take him down.
And without 2 Ghostbusters, you can't use the classic line, "Don't cross the streams."
And I don't know, man. I didn't see him bring a trap with him. So
He had a trap.
did he have a trap?
Yeah.
Are we sure that we can take that thing down with only 1 trap and 1 Ghostbuster though?
Well, I helped him take the Stay Puft Marshmallow down at the end of the day. We had to let all the air out, and that was...
Yeah, that's what they did to him in the movie, right? Didn't they pop him?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I was a Ghostbuster for a day.
And the Spider-Man guy who showed up in Spider-Man,
He's our friendly neighborhood comic store regular.
Yep. We haven't had him on the show, but he had Spider-Man costume, and that was really cool, and he hung out and added to the color.
For the keen eye, if you look at the picture again, he's actually dressed as the Peter Parker that's from the cartoon, the multiverse. It's a different kind of Peter Parker. It's an older Peter Parker who's just lounging around in like a wardrobe.
Gotcha.
And a what do you call that? A war?
So like the Amazing Friends.
robe.
Not the Amazing Friends, but before Amazing Friends, kind of.
No. This is much after.
Much after.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is a newer Spider-Verse cartoon that came out within the last 10 years.
Oh. Well, that's not. To me, that's not old.
Well, Spider Friends is very old. That's in the 60s.
Was that 60s?
Spider Friends?
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
and
and his
Amazing
Amazing Friends?
Yeah, that's in
I
the
grew up on
60s.
that.
That's that's 66. 1966.
Wow. I mean, it
You might have been watching some reruns.
It
or
was.
something.
They were definitely reruns because
Yeah.
I'm not that old. I'm not.
I've watched every
66,
single one of them.
but, man, that was a great series. I liked it. I liked watching that one because I had Iceman
Yep.
and
Starfire.
and a couple other folks in there, and that was actually one of the coolest Spider-Man cartoons I think I've ever watched.
Yep.
Was that series?
Spider-Man was fairly new to the comic books when that movie came out, or that show came out. So Spider-Man, I think, came out in 62 or 60. I think 1962.
Okay.
So 1966 is when that cartoon aired. That's
It's pretty
fresh
quick.
Spider-Man there.
Yeah. Man, I just we had a good time. We had a good time with it, and
There's Ecto 1.
yeah. Do we have a picture of the Ecto one? We do not have a picture of the Ecto one.
I'm
Oh,
not sure
did
how
that
we
happen?
missed that actually.
Yeah.
That's because we let the Vito do the videography.
Yeah,
and
be
the
mad at him for the
post-production.
weird image format.
Yeah, and it's his fault for the weird image format.
And I
Mhm.
forgot to mention, or I didn't mention yet, but Dr. Ben was there, and he was giving away free comic books too.
You know what? It was great having Dr. Ben there. I really enjoy sitting down talking with him. He came outside and he hung out with us for a little while, and
He had issue number 2 of his Van Piglet just coming out.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he was signing that, and he was giving away free little cartoon comics that he did.
you know, believe it or not, I really, it's kind of off the wall, but I really do enjoy the artwork that he puts into his comic books because it's complicated, but it's also simple at the same time. It's
It's indie, and it's very much him.
yeah, definitely like underground, but
If you know
you could
anything about the
tell-
underground comic book community, he very much embodies that.
yeah, and you could tell when you're like looking at his books that he's putting a lot of thought into what he's drawing in his stuff, and I apologize, Ben, because I know you're going to watch the show, but I forgot the card. It will be on set next week. I promise.
And he's got this nice little sticker he's going to put on his comic books from here on, I think. He was on Discovery documentary.
Was he?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
For like a crime that happened in New Orleans.
Well, I can't say that that's necessarily a bad thing as long as he didn't go to jail for it.
Well,
Whatever.
If you're interested in that,
Go
look up that
him up.
documentary. Talk to Dr. Ben about it, or inquire about what that sticker is on his comic book.
Statute of
Yeah.
limitations.
He was not the crime the crimer,
Crimer.
Okay.
Yeah.
criminal. He was not the criminal.
Not the suspect
Ah, yeah, suspect.
or person
That's
of
the word.
interest. Gotcha. No, I've been involved in that kind of stuff too. The stuff where I was not the person of interest, but involved in some larger crimes that took place around me. Yeah, not involved directly, but
Not a person of interest, an interesting person. Are you an interesting person?
I guess maybe I don't know. I'm interesting enough to keep doing the things I'm doing.
Well, if you're interested in crime, there's all kinds of crime comic books in my store, and a lot of superheroes that bust crime.
That's what superheroes do.
That's what they do. That's what got me into comics.
Yeah, actually, on my radio show last night, the Wednesday Night Joke Net on our local repeater, I had a comic book joke. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
So what do you get when Iron Man and Silver Surfer team up?
Iron Man, Silver Surfer.
Or I'm sorry, what happens when Iron Man and Silver Surfer team up?
Crossover comic book that spans 12 issues.
Well, that would be a good one. I actually stumped a bunch of people with this one. So what do you get when Iron Man and Silver Surfer team up? They become alloys.
Nice. Good one.
Yeah.
What
so
what
that-
alloy would that be though? Because Iron Man's suit is what, a gold and titanium alloy? Gold, titanium, and silver.
Well,
Or not silver,
Surfer's
he's not
really
silver.
but he's the power cosmic.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he's got like magic alloy.
So the concept of telling that joke over the radio net is the other people participating in the net come back with a snappy punchline for that one liner. Puts everybody on the spot.
What was the some of the guesses?
Ah, man, there
Put you on the spot
was a
there.
couple good ones. I stumped a lot of people with that one because they didn't know. Oh man, I think Wayne had a really good answer, and I can't. He had a great snappy back answer, and I can't remember what was the best one. I had it written down. I wrote it down at home.
He's awfully good at that, I gotta say.
When he answers, he's good at answering. There's a regulars on our net. Jeff is also one of the members of our club that checks in. He's really good. He usually comes up with a good answer, but I think even he got stumped. He's usually quick on his feet.
Nice.
But
I heard this joke the other day.
yeah,
Say knock knock.
knock knock.
Who's there?
I don't know.
Oh, that's a horrible joke. I didn't hear that one.
He
Puts
didn't
people on the
knock
spot.
loud enough. You didn't hear him.
It gets everyone every time.
Yeah.
Makes people think.
So hey, speaking of radio, our radio club, 2 weeks back, or what was it, 2 weeks now?
I think so, yeah.
2 weeks back, we did classes for amateur radio operators. We had 12 people. 2 of them passed that day. I believe it was 2 of them that passed that day. 2 of them should have passed that day, but because they were related to people in the testing group that were testing officials, they weren't allowed to test. So they had to go find other testing groups to test with. So they're doing that. Of the people that did not make it, this past weekend, right after the free comic book day, I literally went right over there and we tested 4, and 3 of them made it of the original from the original group.
Wow.
So we put what that totals us up at 5 this month. The new. Yeah, so I think we put 5 new amateur radio operators in the mix
You getting
in
them signed up
Ashtabula
to the club?
County. Some of them, yep. So just I want to say big hand, congratulations if you guys see the show.
That's awesome.
And if you want to know more about amateur radio operation, anybody watching, you can just look us up, kc8oh.org, Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula. It's all right here. So come check us out. We'll help you get on the air. And, the cool thing was we did the testing. After the testing was over and not as many people passed as we had expected, we didn't just abandon them. We told them, and we got back with them, and we brought them. Some of them went out and did studying on their own. We tutored a couple, and then they came back in, and they retested. And the one kid who didn't make it, unfortunately, he will. He's determined, but that's okay. He'll get it eventually.
Sure.
And,
Anybody with determination.
yeah, I'm just real happy we got more amateur radio operators in the area, and a lot of them are younger. One kid's a firefighter over in Monroe Township.
Okay.
The other ones are up out of Conneaut Way, and in and around the area. So anytime we can add to the mix, that's a good thing. So hey, we got to get your folks involved up there at the Trail Life, man.
Yeah.
That would be good. That'd be good. We can get them. We'll figure something out for that.
We'll work something out. But yeah, see here, comic shop is doing good. We're looking to expand a little bit. That's going to be a future news.
Yeah, that's going to
We
be
got something in the
something
works.
cool. So Andrew, what do you got, man? You
You're waiting for me.
well, we haven't even seen your face on screen, man. We set you up with a camera and everything. Let's bring
Let's
you in
see here. Is it going to work? Because I've had my phone disconnect like 3 times. No, there's a freeze frame.
Oh, that's a freeze frame. We're
There we
trained
are.
amateurs. Hey,
Hello
there you
there.
are.
By the power of technology, I'm here now.
Yeah, so that's Andrew, line producer Andrew, sitting in the
Oh.
back there, pushing buttons,
Yeah.
making the show
Come
look
on,
good.
yes.
Appreciate everything he does. And he's got a bunch of hobbies.
I do. I have a few hobbies, and let's see here. Transparently, I have a piece of paper because what I'm talking about is pretty important to me, and I wanted to get the words right. So, let's see here.
So first, let's see, before you get into all
What's
that,
up?
because I know what you got going on there.
Yeah.
And we're going to have like a little group discussion on it, obviously. But how does it tie into hobbies?
How does this tie into hobbies?
Mhm.
So that,
Your hobbies.
I was just gonna say. So that's my first part of this here. So basically, I've got a lot of hobbies. I I have probably more hobbies than a lot of people my age because people my age, it's like social media, video games, and then maybe 1 or 2 other things, right? I've commented on a lot of like the videos that we've done over the past almost a year now. How about that, by the way?
We're getting there.
Yeah. I've had usually a lot to say, or I've wanted to say more on certain things, but I also wanted to not like take up all the time on a specific episode. There was one, I think you were sick, and it was me and Rykus, and we did one talking about my like radioactive antiques, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one at the fair I've done with beekeeping. I talked with the beekeeping guys, and there's still one in the works there with my own adventure in beekeeping. But one of my many hobbies is military aviation. When I was 17, me and my folks went to see the Navy flight demo team, the Blue Angels. That was a whole other story of how we were able to do that. That was with my sister's Make-A-Wish team of stuff. She's all good now, but that was a whole other thing glad that those years are behind me in a lot of respects. But the thing that came out of that, let me just make sure I get the words here. I actually had the opportunity to meet some of the pilots. Like, I couldn't believe it, because there was the whole other, like, half of the air show that was, like, down the beachfront there at the Cleveland Airport. What is that? John Hopkins?
Burke Lakefront.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it the Lakefront Airport there, Burke Lakefront?
Yeah, I believe it was. So we were actually down farther towards the actual, like, ATC, like, buildings and stuff. And I actually had the opportunity to meet him and shake hands with him. And one of their, like, promotional posters, my dad, we got it signed by everybody, and he's got it at work.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But one of my main takeaways from that event was I didn't know anything about the jets they were flying. Like, I knew what they were, and currently right now they're F-18 Super Hornets, right? But I knew nothing about them. And that, you know, I'm kind of a nerdy, I like to say nerdy guy.
Just going back through it though, the Air Force, right there, Air Force.
They're Navy.
Navy.
Yeah,
All
Navy.
right, so they started with like the F-14s, right?
The Blue Angels, shoot.
F-14s were Thunderbirds.
No,
right?
the F-14s were actually never in a flight demo.
Okay.
They were deemed, it's like why we don't see F-35s or F-22s in the flight demo team. They're too complicated, and the maintenance required to keep that team up is one of the things that is put into consideration with that. I believe the last aircraft that the Navy was flying, because they went from regular Hornets to Super Hornets, I believe before that, shoot, I want to say it was the F-4 Phantom before that. I think there's one in between there that I can't remember, but anyway. So that was when I was 17, right? And fast forward like 4 years to now, I'm a massive nerd for all that kind of stuff, right? Excuse me. I know the jets, I know the tactics, and I have a modest flight sim setup that I enjoy, right? It's not like a fighter jet cockpit like you see some people have. I don't have that, but it's you know, stick and throttle in a computer. Okay, I'm just going to start reading from this a little bit here, so I don't want to get too off script. And to be clear, I did write this. I didn't just throw this into AI for anybody wondering. So, one jet that always stood out to me out of all the other ones was the F-14 Tomcat. I, much like many others, I was captivated by it the first time I saw Top Gun. Of course, have to mention Top Gun. And actually, I saw Top Gun Maverick in theaters with my dad before I seen the original, so I had no idea what it was about.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that was fun. And then
that one violated the rules of filmmaking, actually.
What do you mean?
One of the rules of filmmaking is that if you're going to have a sequel, it needs to entirely stand alone.
Yeah.
Without having seen the first one, and it violated that rule.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, my dad had to explain, so here's what happened in the first one. This is why they're, like, saying these things, because in the scene when the roster for all the candidates comes up and Maverick sees Rooster's name, he, like, scoffs at it. What's the problem? You know what the problem is. I had no idea what they were talking about, right? But, yeah, so there was just something about that particular jet that seemed really cool to me. I can't really explain it per se. It's just the looks and stuff. And I looked into it before I ever saw the first one, right? Like, I didn't know anything about it. So, so the more I dove into the history of it, the more I was like, okay, this is a very interesting jet to me, right? So that was the thing about the F-14. I'm saying was, right? Lots of was, because it's only ever existed in history for me.
Oh, yeah, because for me, I remember.
Yeah, you remember it, and Rykus, I don't know how much you were into aviation, but I'm sure you probably remember it.
Very key in
Desert
Storm.
I'm not like a...
Yeah,
they were key in Desert Storm.
They were actual real asset in Desert Storm, for sure. That was one of their last big things. And, well, for me, I was 2 years old when the F-14 flew its last flight in 2006. Or, I was less than 2 years old, right? So, I obviously don't have any real memory of that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So,
yeah, see, I remember them in their heyday.
Yeah. So, because they came out, I believe the first flight was in 72, and they were accepted into the Navy in 74, I want to say. Around then, when the first F-14A was a type accepted. So, yeah, so that, and because of the history between, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this, between Iran, the only other operator of the F-14s in the entire world, and the U.S., their history between us and them in the 70s and 80s, all of that, This is exactly why I wrote this. I never even dreamt of seeing a functional example in person because all the museum displays are like, they're static. There's really not much to them. They're shells.
Right.
The engines are removed. The cockpits are blacked out. It's
at best they're shells.
Yeah, at best, right. And they're, paint's all worn down and all that. Usually they try to tidy them up for the museum displays, but, it's... A lot of people see them as, like, gate guards, like on big pedestals, like in front of, like, a museum or something. But
Or like down at the Lakefront Airport, they got the 2 planes down there.
Yep, yeah, that's...
Right at the front of the airport.
Yep.
I think there's a couple of them at Wrights-Patterson Air
So
Museum.
there's no F-14s at Wright-Patterson because that's an Air Force museum, but there are other planes there that are gate guards, yeah, and that's one thing that sucks. If I want to actually go see one in person, I have to drive like a long way or take a flight somewhere to another museum. But yeah, so the Navy took pretty extreme measures to prevent parts and documentation for the F-14 from falling into the hands of those that would misuse it. So unfortunately, they went as far as shredding, like industrial shredder, many functioning examples of these airframes. Just like, yeah, I've seen footage of it. It's pretty heartbreaking, right?
Well, I mean, let's face it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about now,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at what's going on now, the technological difference between the F-14 and a modern plane like an F-35,
Right.
you're really talking about the difference between a P-51 and an F-14.
Yeah, it's like
So-
the difference between when we went from swords to guns in wars.
Yeah.
Right?
kinda
Like it's this thing inflicts damage on it. Well, the weight is still the same. It's it's physical impact, but like going off the analogy there, it's worlds different now. Right?
But no, it's kind of, in a lot of ways, it's antiquated technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me see here. So yeah, they went as far as shredding many functional examples and purposefully destroying parts and tooling. That's one of the reasons why the F-22 hasn't been manufactured since the 90s. A lot of the tooling and assembly lines, they got retooled for the F-35, right? And of course, we haven't had the need to build any more of them, right? Because we've never lost any to anything other than crashes, like, just what happens when you fly aircraft, right? But many surviving examples, like I said, in museums, they had their titanium wing boxes cut, and that was the one. Oh, hang on. I knew this was going to happen. Give me 1 second.
No, you were doing fine.
I
up
was
until
doing
right down in
fine.
there.
I don't know. I didn't bump it or nothing.
Hey,
There we go.
there you go. We're trained amateurs
We're
on
trained
the internet.
amateurs with the equipment that we have. And I'm back. Oh,
Are you?
nope, I'm not back.
You're gone.
Now I'm back.
There you're back.
Okay. So yeah, one of the big things with the F-14, obviously, the variable sweep wings, right? Ooh. Oh, I saw the stream over there go black. We're good still. We're still good here. The variable sweep wings. That's what most people think of when they think F-14 because, you see the movie, they're
Right.
Top Gun, they're going really fast, the wings sweep back. It looks like a Dorito,
Yep.
basically.
Oh, well, that was actually a big innovation
Yeah.
in aero design because it was like, okay, we can open the wings up and slow down.
Yep, for good low-speed performance.
And do good low speed performance. But
Yep.
then when we need to go supersonic,
The wings go back.
The wings can go back and we
Yeah.
can.
And speaking from like an example in like a simulator, with how massive that aircraft is, you'd be surprised how floaty it is when the wings are fully out and the flaps are down. They did that on purpose so that it could land on a carrier better.
Right.
Right? Because if you're slamming down onto the carrier deck going fast because your airframe is like, it doesn't do good at low speed, it's going to put more wear and tear on it. But yeah, so all of that, they cut the wing boxes. That's like the main component of it, right? And to fix that would cost more than to build the entire new airframe again. So the Navy went to great lengths to make sure that these things could never fly again. And they destroyed the parts to make sure they could never fall into the hands of anybody, really. And as soon as they were phased out, there was no, hey, let's like keep this squadron going for like test and demonstration. No, they were gone completely. So normally I don't pay much attention to politics, right? I don't like politics. I don't really care what it is about. There's always somebody who's going to make it into an extreme and everyone's going to argue, and it's like you talk about politics over the dinner table. I don't think that's very, people, even families disagree on it. But that said, when I learned about this bill that I'm going to talk about here, I had to talk about it. So, this bill, aptly named the Maverick Act, for obvious reasons, this is Senate Bill 4161, quietly passed through the Senate a few days ago with bipartisan sponsorship and no visible organized opposition, that's that word. The bill itself, it's surprisingly small and straightforward. It authorizes 3 surviving F-14 airframes, 2 late model F-14Ds that were manufactured in I think one was 89 and one was 90. So they're pretty new as far as those go. And 1 historically significant F-14A. I'm going to ask you, Nemo, do you remember the Gulf of Sidra incident in, I believe, 81?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a real specific one.
That's fine. I'm just curious because that was one of the only actual like combat air-to-air engagements that the F-14 ever got into. Without Gulf of Sidra, yeah. So that was 2 Libyan MiG-23 floggers. It was a whole thing with the politics and stuff of the day, but basically...
that was Libya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, the F-14s engaged these 2 MiG-23s, and they shot them down, right? Because it was... And I forget the specifics of it. If I had thought, I would have read up on a little bit
That was
of it.
Gaddafi.
Yeah, but yeah, it was.
Yeah. I remember that conflict. Not necessarily specifics of it, except for I believe there was a lot of Gaddafi going, if you cross this line,
Yes.
you would die, and that line kept getting moved farther and farther back.
Yeah, because we were doing
'Cause we
freedom of
kept-
navigation stuff like, hey,
Yeah.
no, these are international waters, these are not your waters. But yeah, so that's what ended up happening with that, and that's one of the F-14As. The other one in that engagement is actually in a museum, thankfully. It didn't just get shredded. But these 3 airframes would be transferred from the control of the U.S. Navy to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center Commission in Huntsville, Alabama. The stated goal of this bill is to preserve and restore the aircraft for museum and educational purposes. Now that wouldn't be so crazy. Here's the crazy part. The bill also authorizes the transfer of excess spare parts, no, the Navy did not destroy all of them, and technical documentation. Most shockingly of all, the wording of this bill, you can read in plain English, explicitly allows for the possibility of one of the aircraft being restored to airworthy conditions for flight demonstrations.
Wow,
That
would be cool.
line right there, if you had told me that yesterday morning, I wouldn't believe you, right? And the first bit of this that actually came out, it came out around April 1st. Wow. And I saw people making jokes about it, right? So that may not sound like a huge deal to non-aviation people, but for military aviation enthusiasts, that's almost surreal. I froze again.
You froze.
Hey, I'm really glad this hasn't been happening when we've been using this for other people, right?
You froze.
Come on.
Yeah, we'll bring you back. We're bringing him back,
Bring me
guys.
back.
Well, we're bringing him back. Let me just say hi to Dan G7493.
There we go.
There you go. Dan, thank you for
Dan
coming.
Gall.
That's actually DMG Scale Models right there.
Oh, he's got another YouTube account there. Okay.
It's in his other YouTube account.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, and
Awesome.
maybe we'll be chatting with you a little later on.
More people to hear me rant about airplanes. I love
Yeah,
it.
actually, it's cool. I'm glad
Yeah.
they're bringing it up, and it's becoming an official thing.
Right, like, let me see, is there anything else I have here worth adding? But basically, it's just like, for years, the idea of like a civilian or even like a different government operated or different government organization operated F-14, it was like a pipe dream, right? People would joke about it because the Tomcat wasn't just another retired fighter jet. It was one of the most tightly controlled retired aircraft in U.S. military history.
There was a lot of technology in it, and when it came out, it was the forefront of modern
the
aviation.
F-14 absolutely changed in a lot of ways the way that air warfare was even thought of, because while the U.S. never really used it in any significant capacity in an actual engagement, other than, like I said, the Gulf of Sidra, without getting into like politics and all that, the Iranian Navy, or excuse me, Iranian Air Force, they used it to great effect in the Iran-Iraq war in, what was that? That was the 80s, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And if their numbers are right, the ratio of wins to losses with that and aerial engagements was insane. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but let me just say, and I remember this specifically from a documentary I heard about it, that would be the Iraqi Air Force with like French and older Soviet designed aircraft. One day their aircraft just started like detonating in midair, right? Which is a thing that can happen, especially with older jets because of the way the jet engines were designed. And this is actually what happened with the F-14s as well. They would throw compressor blades and get into compressor stalls, hence what happened to Goose and Top Gun, right?
Right.
But their jets were just randomly exploding, and they didn't know why. They grounded their entire Air Force. Come to find out, it was Iranian F-14s hitting them with over-the-horizon missiles that were fired from so far away, they didn't even know they were being targeted.
Yeah, that was one of the things that plane had, was...
the Phoenix missile.
Yeah. Well, and it could target you from a long ways, longer than your radar in the plane. That's why they were often accompanied by AWACS.
Yep.
And other long range radars while they were up in the air.
Yeah, like with U.S. deployed stuff, they were very much okay, here's your home base, here's all your infrastructure. You have a powerful enough radar that you can see beyond that. But in the Iranian, in their case, because they didn't have any of that or most of that infrastructure, they would deploy F-14s like AWACS. Just have them doing circles like, hey, I have this radar that can see 100, 150, 200 miles, right?
Oh, they would use the plane as an AWAC.
Yeah, back in the day, that's how good they were in comparison to a lot of the other stuff of that time. And that's why the U.S. Navy went as seriously as they did. But like, if anybody watching is interested in this bill, just go read it. It's like 2 pages. You can read it. You don't need like a lawyer to summarize it or ChatGPT to summarize it for you. You can just read it.
It's crazy. From my perspective, just for the sake of history and people who study history as a hobby and are history buffs and, on the aviation side of things, and just for common sense,
right.
I think to me, it's common sense. When we have a development of that stuff, in my opinion, we should have P-51s. We should have 10 or so P-51s sitting in a hangar somewhere, always with the parts on them, always prepped and ready for flight. And then, they don't have to be used, but there should be them in reserve. You don't have to make a whole fleet. You don't have to base your whole defense around it, but, it should be. It should be. And this is something that we should have too, Oh, there you go. You lost your camera again. Uh-oh. But that's always been my thought, is always keep a couple of the old, you come out by us and, there's that big farmer down the road from us.
Yeah, I know you're talking
He's
about.
got the big field and he's got the case tractor that's like the case robot tractor that he just sits in and he pushes the button and the GPS and the computer does it all. But you know what? Every farmer I know that has one of those also has an old case or an old Farmall or an old Ford sitting in the barn in case that thing breaks down and they can't get it fixed right away. They can run out to the old tractor and they can hook up to their hook their old tractor up and go out in the field just in case. And so to me, just from a strategic standpoint, I feel like that's something, but not just that, but from a history standpoint.
Oh, absolutely. Like preservation.
We should be preserving the history, just like the
museum ships. Think about that.
Well, I was a big fan of the Patton Museum. I used to go to the Patton Museum a lot, and there's all I don't think it's open anymore. I think they closed. You could verify that for me, but they closed the Patton Museum a couple years after I stopped going down that way, and I was so sad to hear it because that was the only place you could see a World War I French tank from the World War I that was like designed to roll over the trenches, trenches. And it took like 8 people to drive it. And more people died from smoke inhalation inside the driving compartment than actually died doing anything in combat with it. And, you know, but it's history.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a big hobby.
I will say it does kind of
Froze
like...
again.
Oh, I don't know why it
Froze
keeps
again.
doing that. I'm not bumping any cables or anything, but... Oh, okay, here we go.
Maybe it's your camera resolution.
Okay, we're good for now, but...
Yeah.
But, like, I understand why it was done, right? It was done, and it was, you know, it's better to have, like, an overreaction to that than an underreaction, especially if we can handle, like, you know, throwing away all those aircraft. But from a historical standpoint, it really sucks because, like, even like flight simulators and stuff, like for the F-14D, a lot of that stuff still isn't even declassified out of fear of, oh, these F-14s that are floating around, like, we cannot let their technology be, like, improved or upgraded. And they tried. The Iranians tried strapping Soviet missiles to them when they ran out of U.S. stock and stuff, and it's really debated how much it really mattered at that point anyway, because, well, what happened? One of the aircraft that was released after the F-14 was the F-15, right? And the F-14D actually had the same radar, I believe, as the F-15E did. The AN/APG-71. I can't believe I can remember that off the top of my head, but that was the radar that it had, and it's really debated how much it mattered, all the efforts that went into making sure these parts didn't fall into the hands of the Iranians. But yeah, this bill, which I hadn't heard about it until one of my friends told me about it, passed the Senate, no opposition, bipartisan support, like I said. And if it doesn't just sit and rot away in the House, if it gets passed in, 5-10 years, there could be an F-14 flying around at air shows.
That would be pretty cool.
And it would be, of course, used very sparingly because some of those parts will never be made again, right?
Yeah,
and the tooling to make those would cost exorbitant amounts of money. So unless we get like an eccentric billionaire like behind some of these nonprofit organizations, because that was one of the things the bill said too, is nonprofit organizations would be like involved in this. It's really just kind of being like, how far can we go with this before it's, oh, this is a functional display piece, we can taxi around, we can light the engines and have it do high-speed taxis or whatnot, or, hey, wait, we have the funding and we have the manpower and all these maintainers are still alive and they're coming out of the woodwork. Can we get this thing flying again? And that is the perfect time for my camera to freeze, because that's all I got, really.
Kick the tires and light the fires.
Yeah, man, that absolutely. I'll go back to you guys there now, but
all right, so check that out.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm all for it.
I wrote my congressman. Like, I'm serious. That's the first time I've ever done that, but I did.
And you're I'm going to give your age away, but you're young enough that many people would be surprised that you would do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been a big jet enthusiast too, but not as major as you. But I've actually been to Cleveland and my boss's mansion when I was doing some video work. He had the rooftop next to the airport, and I watched the Blue Angels flying around.
That's amazing. I love
think
that.
That was about 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's probably the last one. I just love going to the air show.
Yeah.
And actually, like, pretty much, so I worked in the Clark building on Euclid Avenue. And if you were in there during the weekend, we worked on like the 8th floor. So you got a good view of the air show from there when I was working there.
Yeah. I didn't see all the tricks that the Blue Rangers were doing, but every once in a while you see one go this way and that way. It was just fun to watch them.
When they're flying through the city like that, they're actually, and people go, oh, they're being loud. They're actually that loud because they're not allowed to go as fast as they can actually go.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they actually went as fast as they could go, they would shatter all the windows in the building.
That happened, by the way, with the Blue Angels and the F4s. One of them touched it just above Mach, and I think it was like millions of dollars in damage in that one town. Like, that guy, he kept his job, right?
Was that in Seattle? Was that Washington State? That
I
happened?
think it might have been, actually, but
I'm pretty sure that was Washington State.
That happened, and like, that's why you can't do that. Everyone who goes to air shows like, oh, they're gonna break the sound barrier. Oh, they're gonna do so. No, they only do that over the freaking desert, man.
Yeah.
That'd be a great place for all the glass hobbyists to
No.
to go there and tinker with glass for a little bit.
Yeah. I do like the air show.
I think I grew up with micro machines, and that's what got me into jets. I didn't like the cars too much as the airplanes and the jets. And I had a aircraft carrier that had all the jets and micro machines on it. I played with that like crazy. But I think there was like a German or a Russian jet that I liked that was able to take off vertical.
That was
I think it started with an H.
That was the
Harrier.
British Harrier. Yeah.
The Harrier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it British?
Yeah, that's one of the only aircraft the U.S. has actually bought and imported instead of exporting our
But I
own.
think it was like a Russian or a German.
The Russians never had that. They had like prototypes of it, but the Harrier, yeah, that was one of the only jets that could do that. It had the little exhaust ports that would point down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got a comment in the chat here. Maybe you could read it for us there.
Yeah. Okay.
BMG scale model.
That's the one that I couldn't remember. The T-37. Yeah, they switched from F4s to T-37s, and they kept those for a long time.
Yeah. One of them ran the F-14s, and the other ones.
One of my
Are
favorite
you thinking
jets.
of the F-16s? The
Yeah.
Thunderbirds?
Well, the Thunderbirds were F-16s.
The Thunderbirds were F-16s, and they also had F4s as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because the F4 was one of the ones that was Navy and Air Force as well.
It was both. My recollection from the Cleveland Air Show, though, when I was growing up over there, was that mostly it was Blue Angels.
Yeah.
I think there was once or twice that they had the Thunderbirds out there.
I've seen the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds there, but it's usually the Thunderbirds. Or, usually the Blue Angels. Yeah.
I think my favorite jet now is probably the Blackbird.
The Nighthawk, or Blackbird, excuse me.
SR-17?
Yeah, 71.
71.
Yeah, okay.
I was able to see one of those in person.
You
touched it.
saw an SR-71 in person. Where
It's
did
at
you see
the
that?
Wright-Patterson Air Force.
That's right. Oh, wait, are you sure you're not thinking of the Nighthawk, the F-117?
No, it was.
Because
I'm pretty sure it was a Blackbird.
I've been to the Wright-Patterson, but it was like 12 years ago, so I can't remember them
No, it was
having an
fairly recent.
SR-71.
Last year I went there.
You are lucky, man. I want to go there. It's been so long, but
The X-Men's for the comic books.
That's
the
their jet.
That's their.
Yeah.
Well, it's not exactly. They modified it. I mean, they got the full X-Men crew hanging out in the cockpit.
and it can do VTOL and stuff as well. Yeah, I remember that.
But the real Blackbird can only fit like 2 people.
Yeah.
I think it's like one guy and a bunch of camera equipment, because that was the original purpose of the Blackbird was reconnaissance.
Yeah,
And-
it's a very tight fit too.
Funny.
When I looked at it, I was like looking at the cockpit, thinking, "How's all these X-Men gonna fit in this cockpit?"
Right. There's a funny story about the Blackbird, by the way. So it was made mostly of titanium, right? And back in those days, we actually didn't have a whole lot of titanium to go around in the U.S. We bought it from the USSR, and we used that titanium to build this plane to spy on them.
Well, that happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got another comment in the chat there. 81. Nope.
Yeah, one of the
School hangers.
Thunderbird's planes. Oh, into the break wall. Yeah, that was one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons they do it up there, actually. And that was from one of the pilots that had actually told me, yeah, if something goes wrong, we'd rather eject over water than over a crowd. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I've seen footage of them. It gets scary when the planes get too close.
Oh yeah, no, it's insane.
The last air show I went to, though, had one of my favorite airplanes at it, and that was the A-10. And that plane, I give all the other jets, the high-speed fighter jets, their props. But in my opinion, the A-10 acrobatically in the air. One of the best planes ever built.
It's amazing. The last air show that I went to at the Cleveland Air, that was 2 years ago. I think that's the last A10 demo that they're ever going to do there. Although the A10's retirement just got pushed back again, so maybe not. But it was one of the green and black pattern ones. And I have some of the comms I recorded on my HT, actually, of them doing like a fake gun run over the airstrip. Cool. It was very cool. And that thing came out of nowhere, too. Like, as soon as it flies behind you, you can't see it. It's gone, right? And it's quiet, too.
And just the cornering. Yeah. It's like watching a helicopter fly. It almost could come to a stop. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's weird, right? Because these are machines that are designed to do a very specific job, right? And we all know what that job is, and whether or not you agree with that is one thing, but I try to take it like, okay, I separate what these were designed for versus this is the engineering behind them, and it's amazing to me, right? Oh yeah, and that is the less amazing side of aviation there. DMG scale models in the chat there. The ejection of the what is that? The Thunderbirds pilot. Yeah, he ejected upside down, and the plane crashed on top of him.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's you don't want that. There's a reason why these guys, the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, are some of the best pilots in their respective branches of the military for good reason, right?
Yeah.
So.
All right. So where are we at time wise?
We're about 50 minutes. 40,
all right.
54 minutes. So.
Let's wrap it up.
Well, we can wrap it up. Let me do a couple things here. Dan, DMG scale models.
Thank you for letting me ramble, by the way.
No, you know what? You get so little time on the show, in my opinion, that if you've got something to say, we need to let you say it. That's the way I see it.
Let's see that cup, man. We all know what you're grabbing.
You all know what I'm grabbing off the shelf. That's right.
It's that time again.
It's that time. Hey, check it out. We are so close. How many? We're like
we're like 7 away, yeah.
7 away from 100 subscribers on YouTube, and you will get this beautiful Wednesday night joke night coffee mug, which is what we were just talking about a little earlier with the joke. Excuse me. And then on top of that, we've got this awesome T-shirt, Captain's Comics T-shirt giveaway, and you will get this any color, any size, any color printing. You'll tell us, we'll send it to you. This you don't get a choice on. This is what you get, and we'll pull a name, one of our subscriber names, and we'll send that out. That somebody's going to win that.
And that will be live, of course, as we are doing for everything now.
Yeah, as we're doing for everything now. So
now that we're getting close to our 100 subscriber, I've been thinking, what am I going to donate to the next big subscriber?
I'm not going to. I've got something to donate to the next subscriber.
I'm thinking it's going to be something a lot bigger.
Oh, yeah. We got to do something better than that. But this was to get us to 100. And then
I got some pretty good ideas of what I want to contribute.
I think so too. So we'll see what we get there. In the meantime, we appreciate everybody that watches our show, because you guys are the reasons why we do it. And
like and subscribe, leave a comment.
Subscribe. If you want to support us, head over to ashtabulahobbytalk.com and
go check out that bill too.
Click on the Ko-fi button, and then that's the best way you could support us. That
you're on Facebook, hop onto our Facebook page.
Yep. Hop onto our Facebook page. I get messages through the Facebook page occasionally here and there. And as Andrew said, check out that bill.
What is that? 4161, the Maverick Act.
All right, 4161, the Maverick Act.
All right.
You should have called it the Top Gun Act.
Maverick is good.
It's close enough.
Everybody knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody. We'll see you next week. Hobby on.
Hobby on.